What if the next camera you buy isn't a smartphone, isn't a mirrorless, and fits in the same pocket as your keys, but still makes professional photographers do a double take? That's exactly what Sony is rumored to be building right now. And today we're getting into everything that's leaked so far. Welcome back to Tech Pulse. For years, getting a truly sharp image on the move meant accepting one of two bad options. Pull out your phone and hope for the best, or lug around a full camera bag just to get a decent shot. Serious photographers and content creators learned to live with that frustration. Quality meant weight, and portability meant compromise. But the rumor mill is spinning hard right now around a new pocket camera that could flip that entire equation. Today we're going deep on everything that's leaked about the Sony RX100 VIII, a camera that hasn't been officially announced yet, but is already generating serious buzz across the photography world. Before we get into it, one thing worth saying up front: Sony hasn't confirmed any of this. What you're about to hear comes from supply chain sources, regulatory filings, and trusted analysts who track this stuff closely. With that said, let's get into it, starting with the physical design. And the good news here is that Sony isn't trying to fix what isn't broken. The same ultra-compact body that made the RX100 lineup legendary around the world is sticking around. This is a camera that disappears into a jacket pocket while delivering power that punches well above its size. But staying small doesn't mean staying the same. Reports point to subtle but meaningful tweaks to the outer shell, specifically a deeper, more textured front grip. This directly addresses one of the most common complaints about older models, which had a reputation for feeling slippery and risky to hold with a single hand. With a deeper grip, you can move confidently through a busy street or a crowded venue without constantly worrying about dropping it. The lens stays flush against the body when the camera is off, keeping that clean, pocket-friendly silhouette intact. Moving to the lens itself, leaks suggest Sony is keeping the 24 to 200 millimeter focal range, and honestly, that's the right call. That range covers almost everything: wide landscape shots, tight portrait framing, and everything in between, all without touching a single piece of glass. It's one of the most flexible setups available on any camera at this size. The physical interface is also getting a serious rethink. The old model paired a pop-up electronic viewfinder with a basic tilting rear screen, which did the job but started to feel dated. According to the latest supply chain reports, that viewfinder is getting a brand new OLED panel with a meaningful resolution boost. Looking through it won't feel like a compromise anymore. Instead, you'd get a sharp, high-refresh window that makes tracking fast action easy even in harsh sunlight. And the rear screen is making the jump from a basic tilt to a fully articulating display, which is a bigger deal than it might sound. For solo creators and vloggers, being able to flip the screen completely forward to monitor your own framing is non-negotiable. And when you're done shooting, that same screen folds flat against the body to protect the glass when the camera goes into a bag. The internal hardware is reportedly getting just as big an upgrade as the outside. A completely new processing engine is expected to replace the aging chip found in previous models. This next-generation processor is designed to handle massive amounts of image data at high speed, eliminating the menu lag and buffer delays that used to slow things down during fast-paced shooting. Alongside that main processor, a dedicated artificial intelligence chip is also reportedly coming to the RX100 VIII, a piece of hardware that was previously only found inside much more expensive professional cameras. To support all of that computational muscle, regulatory filings point to a significantly larger battery than what older models carried. That's a direct fix for one of the biggest frustrations for travel creators who hate carrying spare batteries everywhere. The camera is also expected to make the full switch to USB-C for both fast charging and quick file transfers. And while a physical cooling fan isn't realistic inside a body this small, the new processor reportedly runs much cooler and more efficiently, which should translate directly into longer recording sessions without the camera overheating and cutting you off mid-clip. Now, the part that gets photographers genuinely excited: the sensor. The RX100 VIII is expected to carry a completely redesigned 20.1 megapixel stack sensor. The megapixel count staying the same might sound underwhelming at first, but the stacked architecture is what actually matters here. By placing ultra-fast memory layers directly behind the pixel array, the camera can read incoming light at a dramatically faster rate. In real-world terms, that means rolling shutter distortion, that frustrating warping effect on fast-moving subjects, is largely eliminated. Birds in flight, spinning wheels, fast action in general, all captured cleanly without the weird bending you get otherwise. Pair that fast sensor with the new AI processing chip, and the autofocus system becomes something else entirely. Deep learning algorithms are expected to instantly recognize and lock onto human eyes, animals, birds, and moving vehicles, holding focus through burst shooting at high speed without dropping a single critical frame. For video, the jump is just as significant. Reliable leaks point to uncropped 4K, recording it up to 60 frames per second, giving travel footage the kind of detail and dynamic range that holds up to heavy color grading in post. A new active stabilization mode is also expected, using the fast processor to deliver near gimbal smoothness while shooting handheld. The software side is getting a redesign too, with a cleaner, color-coded, touch-friendly menu system built to feel more like what you'd find on a high-end cinema camera, meaning less time buried in settings and more time actually shooting. On the connectivity side, the camera is expected to feature upgraded wireless and Bluetooth, letting you push full-resolution RAW files to your phone almost instantly for direct social media posting. No laptop, no cable required. It'll also connect wirelessly with modern creator apps for full remote control. Now for the real-world picture. Imagine you're walking through a dimly lit street market on holiday. The new stack sensor and BIONZ XR processor work together to let you shoot at high sensitivity with almost zero visible noise, a look no current smartphone can match in those conditions. A street performer suddenly starts moving in front of you. You pull the camera out, the AI autofocus snaps onto their eyes instantly, and you hold down the shutter to rattle off a burst of sharp, clean frames. Then you switch to video with one tap, lean on the active stabilization to keep the shot smooth as you move through the crowd, and the result looks like it came from a camera 3 times the size. That's the core argument for why a dedicated pocket camera still makes sense in a world full of increasingly capable smartphones. Phone makers spend billions on computational photography every year, and the results are impressive, but physics is the wall they can never fully climb. A phone has to stay thin, which means its sensors and lenses stay small. The RX100 VIII combines the physical advantage of a true 1-inch sensor with the same kind of AI-powered computational muscle that modern phones rely on. A larger sensor simply gathers more raw light data to begin with, which means in low light, it doesn't need to lean as heavily on software to clean up the image. The depth of field it creates is real optical blur from actual glass, not an algorithm guessing where your subject ends and the background begins. That distinction shows up immediately in the final image. And because this is a purpose-built imaging device rather than a general-purpose computer that also takes photos, it handles sustained video recording without the thermal throttling that causes phones to slow down, drop frame rates, or shut off the camera app entirely during long shoots. Are you waiting on the RX100 Mark VIII, or has your next camera purchase already been decided? Let us know in the comments. And if you want to be first when Sony finally makes this official, make sure you're subscribed to Tech Pulse with notifications on. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.